Welcome to this rune magic video where we're going to be talking about bind runes, what they are, how to create them, and at the end of the video I'll be sharing some ideas on how you can use them as well. So let's begin. So what are bind runes? Bind runes are magical sigils or symbols that are created by combining two or more runes into one symbol. Personally, I work with the Elder Futhark rune series. There are other rune alphabets out there that you can work with, but for me, the Elder Futhark is the one that resonates, and that is the one we're going to be focusing on here. If you research the internet, you will often find the Elder Futhark runes associated with the Viking era, and that is actually not correct. During the Viking era, the most commonly used rune alphabet was actually the one known as the Younger Futhark. This is just a general misconception that is out there on the internet. And so I just want to make that distinction that the Elder Futhark runes actually predates the Viking era with around 800 years. Historically speaking, we have very little accounts of the Elder Futhark runes. In fact, in academic circles, the Elder Futhark rune alphabet is only viewed as such as an alphabet. Historically and academically, they are not ascribed any type of magical or divination type of powers. The historical account that we have of the Elder Futhark runes is from the Kulverstone or Kulverstenen, which is Swedish, where it was found. And it's a series of 24 symbols, each representing a character in the alphabet, but also in many circles associated with a certain energetic or vibration that many uses in divination. But there are many other ways that you can use the energies of the Elder Futhark runes besides from doing divination practice. I personally use the runes more for calling in energies, for setting intentions, and like a prayer, trying to influence things and my situation and the outcomes of that, rather than trying to predict what the future will bring. The bind rune we're going to be working with today is known as the Bounce It Back rune, and it's a combination of the two runes, the Tiwaz and the Gebo rune. Normally, you will find this bind rune with just one Tiwaz. In my version here, I have tried to boost that energy to add a bit more of defense to it. And so I have, instead of one, added 3 in a row of the Tiwaz rune. This causes for some extra defense, some extra bouncing back energy within this symbol, and of course also making it unique to what you will find out there otherwise. Although I do feel like saying, I don't think that anybody can really patent or own any of these ancient symbols, and I believe that it is everybody's heritage and right to use them. Tiwaz and Gebo are the two runes that are intentionally combined into this bind rune. However, I find that with any bind rune that I create, that there's always a bonus, or perhaps even several bonus runes that happen to be able to be found within each of these designs. And in this one, we can find the Kenash rune, we can find the Ansuj rune, and in most of them we find the Isa rune as well. Now, what does that all mean? The Tiwaz rune is about justice, honor, and courage. It's the rune that embodies the warrior spirit, and thus we're using it here as a defense. It is the arrow that bounces back whatever is energetically sent our way. Gebo is the rune of balance and the sacred exchange of giving and receiving. It's about fair and equal exchange of energy, of give and take, and generosity, about fair exchange. Isa is the rune of ice. Esoterically, it is stasis and stillness, but it is also a truly centered identity. It is a healthy ego, someone who no longer is dependent on others. It's the ability to provide for oneself, true individuality. Ansus is the god mouth rune. It is the rune of insights, of communication, of wisdom, of inspiration, and of the ability to listen. Kenas is the torch. It's the fire rune. It's knowledge through experience and ability. It's understanding. It's enlightenment. It's creativity and clarity. There are many ways that you can work with bind runes. Of course, you can write them on a piece of paper, like a talisman that you can carry around on your person. You can engrave it into jewelry or into little talisman or totem objects that you can use on your person. You can place it on your altar or in your environment and imbue with certain meanings to remind you of whatever themes you are working with. Since this is a protection bind rune that we're working with today, I'd recommend highly to use them on your body. These bind runes you can work with on your body by drawing them on your wrists. Whatever you draw on your dominant hand is what you want to share and send out into the world. And when you draw a bind rune on your non-dominant wrist, this is representative of what you want to receive. And so in this case, with the bounce it back rune, you want to write that on your non-dominant wrist, because this is about what you are receiving. If we look at it in an energetic way, you could view your non-dominant hand as the negative polarity and your dominant hand as the positive polarity, if we're talking more in electromagnetic and energetic terms. You can also use bind runes to send out energies into the world and into the universe, sort of like a prayer to call in something into your experience. You can draw them in the air with your smudging stick. If it's a protection rune, you can do it in your windows and in your doorways. If you have a wish for the universe, if you're working towards a certain goal, you can draw your bind rune in the sand on the beach or in the dirt somewhere in nature and allow Mother Earth to take part of the process. There are endless ways that you can work with bind runes. Really, only your imagination sets the limitation here. So be creative and let me know in the comments if you have any other great ideas of how to work with bind runes. I hope this bind rune will keep you protected and safe from negative energies, black magic, and any other type of energy vampires or negativity that comes your way. May you stay safe, protected, and in your creative flow. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you.